Doing the video a little bit earlier tonight for a change. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just sitting out in the car so I don't have to whisper this time. Yeah, so another day. It is now March 26th, 2020. And the numbers are still climbing up. Michigan is now at 2,856. Believe it or not, that's good news, though, because if you remember from last night, I was predicting, 3,053? So it looks like the rate of infection is continuing to go down. I don't know if that's temporary. It probably is temporary. I don't know. But it's good news, at least for the moment. But still, 2,856 infections. That's not good news. And even though it's slowing down, the rate of infection is still very, very high. That's nearly 600 in a night? Yeah. So that's not good. And what's the death toll right now? I think we're up to, 60, I think, in Michigan? Yeah, not great. Here in St. Clair County, we're up to 13 now. A few days ago, we were still at 8, so then we went to 10, now we're at 13. So, yeah, it continues to grow. The big news, though, is that nationally, we just hit 81,321 cases, which now puts, and this in terms of raw numbers, that now puts the U.S. as the worst in the world as far as coronavirus infections. Nobody else has that much. We've passed Italy, we've passed China. Now, to be fair, just to put all that into context, Italy does have a quarter of our population, so in reality, if you wanted to compare apples to oranges, if you wanted to compare apples to apples and not do apples to oranges, you'd have to inflate their number by 4 times, and you get something comparable. And China's just flat out lying. They're lying. There's no, they didn't just stop it at 80,000 or whatever it was, and then we fixed it. No, well, they didn't. There's videos going around. I'm sure you can find them. Probably already looked at them. You see bodies lying on streets. Just cooping people off benches. Yeah, I'll leave you to find those videos on your own. Like I said, going by the cell phone numbers that I brought up the other day, 21 million fewer. And when they're normally growing this time of year, is that because of the downturn? Or do they have that many dead? They had over 1 billion people in China, so that's quite possible they have over 21 million dead. Don't discount that possibility. Bottom line is they're lying. They're way more than they say there. And it's their lying which started this whole thing. They're lying and underplaying and their propaganda try to not hurt their trade that caused this virus to spread. This is all China's fault, and when this is over, China has got to pay for this. Not even kidding. They've got to answer for this. This is their fault. This is 100% China's fault. Even if they didn't make the virus, and it looks like they might have made the thing, but even if they didn't make it, their response to it allowed this to happen. Yeah, China has to pay for this. And these numbers are worrying, not because they're growing, but capacity. Eventually, we are going to get to the point where we've reached the capacity of our medical system. Right now, the fatality rate is fairly low. It's only about 2%. I actually think it's about 1.8 for the U.S. Globally, it's about 3.5. But remember, our healthcare system is still largely functional. Okay, you got to remember, 20% of people who get this virus end up in the hospital, cooked up to ventilators. 80% mild symptoms of that 20% end up hospitalized. 10% of those, or 2% of the total, roughly, die. But that's with full medical care. What happens when we run out of ventilators? We run out of hospital beds. Hell, we run out of doctors and nurses. That 2% is going to go up. It's going to be closer to 20. That's the true nature of this thing. It's bad. People don't realize that. They keep trying to, compare it to the flu or whatever else. It's not that bad. I can still go out. I can still socialize. Meanwhile, we have a plague going on. It's ridiculous. You see me in these videos, I go out quite a lot. Well, not really quite a lot. I go out once a day for food. And, I don't have contact with people. The problem is people are so treating this like it's nothing. They go out, they socialize, they go out and hang out with friends. They go shopping. They don't social distance. They don't do anything because they think this is nothing, or that it doesn't apply to them. See that more with younger people, but you know what? 20% of the people who get this, at least in Michigan right now, are young. Okay, they're under 40. Okay, you're not immune. And if you want to take it further, like 59, 60%, something like that, or under 60. This isn't just octogenarians and septuagenarians. Okay, anybody can get this thing. There have been young people that have ended up dead. Okay, people don't take it seriously. They don't realize how deadly it actually is. So they don't follow social distancing. They don't self-quarantine. They don't do anything. They carry on like normal, and this happens. Okay? It's bad. And it gets worse. Because, again, I've been saying from the beginning that it's not the virus I'm worried about. It's the reaction to it. Now, I'm getting more worried about this virus as we go on. I'm getting a lot more worried about this virus as we go on. It's actually starting to get pretty freaking scary. Gotta tell you. But it's the reaction to it that worries me more than anything, still. I mean, we have people that are out of work because of this, because we're, trying to isolate people, despite the idiots that are still running around. We're trying to isolate people, stop the spread of this thing. So people are out of work, about 25% of the country, I think, probably a fair number. I mean, weekly unemployment claims are at a massive, ridiculous all-time high right now. And people don't have money coming in. They're hurting. They can't pay their bills. They can't buy food. And you know what's coming in a few days? The first of the month. What's the first of the month? For a lot of people, that is the day that rent and mortgages are due. And they're not going to be able to pay it. And it's not just individuals, but people too. The Cheesecake Factory, for instance, if you've ever been to one of them, they've announced that they can't afford to pay their rent. That's nationally. Okay? Once that happens, once people start missing those payments, regardless of whether or not they can actually be evicted right now, because they technically can't, because the last mini stimulus that went through, not really a stimulus, but aid bill, but no, those landlords can't pay their bills. They can't pay their employees. It starts spiraling out of control, and people start getting behind. It's a mess. It's a massive, massive mess. The clock is ticking. And what's Congress doing? Nothing. Literally nothing. The bill managed to make it out of the Senate, but for the second day in a row, House is sitting on it. Second day in a row, they just called a session to immediately dismiss it not even 2 minutes later, just so they can say they had one. Because if they actually have one, they have to actually vote on this thing, and Pelosi refuses that. The Democrat leadership refuses to do that because they like this. They like the economic destruction that this is causing. They like people hurting. They want to bring down the economy. They want to bring down the country because they think if they do that, they can bring down the president. That's all that matters to these idiots. Politics. They want to either bring him down, pass a bunch of their agenda, the ridiculous socialist, far-left wacko agenda that they have, or get rid of Trump, or better off both. That's all they care about. They do not care about people suffering. They do not care about the economy. They do not care about the country. Quite the opposite. They hate it. I honestly believe that. And look at the way they're acting. It's pretty clear that's what's going on. I mean, they've said publicly they don't want to waste this crisis. They want to get their agenda through. They said that openly. And they won't vote on it. So they bring the House to session and then immediately dismiss it. Because they don't want to vote on this. They don't want to be on record voting no, so they just don't vote on anything. They just immediately dismiss. But since they were technically in there for less than 2 minutes, they can still say they had a session. Bullshit. They didn't have a session. They're playing games while people are hurting, while people are dying. And it's going to get worse, not just the virus. The economy is crumbling down. People are going to lose their jobs permanently at this rate. People aren't going to be able to afford to buy food. They're not going to keep the utilities running. They're going to get desperate. They're going to get angry. They're going to riot. They're going to loot. All that stuff is going to happen. And these people don't care. They want it. It's disgusting. These people need to go. They need tarred and feathered, but they need to at least be voted out. It's ridiculous. Oh, by the way, one of the provisions that the House wants is $25 million for themselves. Literally. That's what $25 million to fund their own salaries. A little bonus for themselves. $25 million. Oh, that's in addition to the $25 million they just dumped on the Kennedy Center because, weird dance numbers and modern art is what we need to solve this. That's in addition to their other bullshit. I've mentioned it many times now. There's forced diversity, which is racism. Let's call it what it is. It's racism. Emission standards for airlines when they're don't even have any planes flying. It's ridiculous. These people are clowns. They're clowns that need to be voted right out of the circus tent, okay? Horrible people. Things are getting out of control, and they do not care. They like it. They think it's an opportunity for them. And best of all, they're hurting the country, which they hate. I truly believe that. Look at their actions. I don't see I can form any other conclusion. Yeah. So, nationally, 81,321. Michigan, 2,856. And rising. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I had to go out today and get some more alcohol. I basically been using it as sanitizer in lieu of anything else. First time I've actually, gone into a place, I had to glove up and all that stuff. Then I had to use the alcohol I bought to disinfect the alcohol I bought. Isn't that funny? Yeah. I had to go into go into a pharmacy. That was, this, especially what's going on, that's scary. I didn't film it because I didn't want to touch my phone. I wanted to minimize touching my stuff. But yeah, they had signs all over. Hey, if you have symptoms, let us know in advance so we can have you go through the drive-thru. Yeah. Then I stopped and got some food, and for whatever reason, McDonald's isn't even wearing gloves. I don't get it. They were. Weird. But I mean, even though I'm limiting contact to just drive-thrus for the most part, I'm getting ready to stop even that. It's getting that bad. I don't even like risking doing that anymore. Unfortunately, without digging into my existing emergency supplies, which I really don't want to, because I see this getting a lot worse. I don't really have much food on hand right now. I mean, it's funny saying that I have weeks worth of food, but I don't have any food. because I don't want to dig into that because, like I said, this is mild. I see this getting a lot worse. I see a hard lockdown coming. No leaving the house. I see rioting mobs. It's coming. I don't want to dig too deeply into those supplies until that happens. Wednesday, I'm planning on going and making this tour run. I mean, at that point, it's going to be so bad, I'm probably going to be wearing a gas mask. I'm not even kidding about that. But it's getting worse. On the personal note, I'm still trying to fix that the binary issue with the Scorpion. But going on 2 weeks in, still nothing. And man, getting gun parts, any tactical, anything, ammunition, is basically impossible now. People are making a major run on that. Like, I've never even seen. Not even when Obango was put into office. Even that run wasn't even like this. This is nuts. I mean, something is coming. It's coming. Not sure exactly what yet, but we're gonna see. It's funny. I watched I read an article about about the new national numbers, and there's a picture from New York, and they got all these barricades set up for a queue line. They got tents set up. You ever played The Division? It looked like that, and it's basically the same storyline if you think about it. Plague wipes out everything, and it could be us in a few months. But hopefully I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong about all this and things get back to normal. That Trump's goal was realistic in getting back to normal by Easter. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a goal. And, it doesn't have to be realistic. It's something to shoot for. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. Anyway, you see why I wanted to do this in the car, because this isn't something I can whisper about in the middle of the night. Anyway, we'll see what tomorrow's update looks like. I hope it's better than the day's update, because the day was just depressing. It really is. We'll see what happens tomorrow. See you then.